Welcome to Storytime with Waterford Libraries. Today we're reading Blue, Where Are You? By Wes Magee and illustrated by Margaret Suggs. Chapter 1. In the middle of winter, the Watkins family moved into the old farmhouse high up on the moors. Dad carried in Blue, the family cat. He put the cat basket down on the flagstone floor of the kitchen. Brr, it's so cold in here, said Mum and gave a shiver. The first thing we have to do is light the boiler and get some heat into the house. Dad opened the cat basket. Blue sniffed for a moment and then jumped out. This is your new home, said Joe, stroking Blue's silky coat. Blue was a grey-blue colour. Her paws were white and so was the tip of her tail. She had long whiskers. Joe and her young brother Josh watched as Blue sniffed her way around the kitchen. She knows it's not home, Josh said. Blue padded slowly and softly from room to room. She explored the old farmhouse while Joe, Josh, Mum and Dad carried in toys, tables, TVs and towels from the van. Later that afternoon, as light was fading, the family sat down to their meal in the kitchen of the old farmhouse. Blue, called Joe, it's dinner time. But Blue didn't appear. Blue, shouted Josh. Blue, where are you? No Blue. She'll be exploring, said Mum. Don't worry, she'll turn up in her own good time. She'll come for her dinner. Cats always do. But Blue didn't turn up. Her dinner stayed untouched in her special bowl on the kitchen's flagstone floor. Chapter 2. While Mum and Dad unpacked, Joe and Josh searched for Blue. In the hall, they peeped behind an old hat stand. Something squeaked and scuttled away. What was that? Whispered Josh. A mouse, said Joe, and it had a really long tail. The children stood in the cold hall. Blue, called Joe. Where are you? Blue, 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 her voice echoed. But Blue didn't appear. Joe and Josh clumped up the bare wooden stairs. On the landing, a clock struck 5. Outside, it was already dark. An icy wind whistled around the old farmhouse. Let's look in here, said Joe, and she pushed open a bedroom door. The door creaked, and they looked inside. Blue, called Joe. The children saw bed ends, mattresses, and piles of pillows. A bare bulb was hanging from the ceiling. It's not like home, is it? Said Josh. Full of a jumble of beds, something ran across the floorboards. What was that? Whispered Josh. A wolf spider, the biggest I've ever seen, said Joe. The children searched and searched for their missing pet. Blue, called Joe. Where are you? No Blue. In the next room, they found Mum and Dad making up beds. Have you seen Blue? Asked Joe. No, said Mum. She's not in here. Joe and Josh searched another bedroom, then the box room, and then the bathroom. There was no sign of their cat. No Blue. Chapter 3. Let's look in the attic, said Joe. Maybe Blue will be there. And she pointed up a narrow staircase. It's dark up there, said Josh. It looks a bit scary. Joe started up the staircase, and Josh followed his sister. The old stairs creaked. Blue, called Joe as she stepped into the attic. Thin beams of moonlight shone through a cobwebby skylight. Blue, where are you? Called Joe. Something fluttered in the dusty gloom. What was that? whispered Josh. It could have been a bird, said Joe, or it could have been a bat. Josh shivered. Oh, it's very dark and dusty up there. It's not like home, is it? He said. Blue, Blue, called Joe. Blue, where are you? But Blue didn't appear. Blue wasn't in the attic. Chapter 4. Downstairs, the children found Mum and Dad unrolling a carpet in the hall. Oh dear, very clumsy. Have you found her? Asked Mum. No, said Joe and Josh. I hope she's not run away, said Mum. She stopped working and looked at Joe and Josh. You know, sometimes a cat will try and find its way back to its old home, Mum told them. Don't worry, she'll turn up, said Dad, and he gave a laugh. But Joe and Josh didn't laugh. They looked sad. Perhaps Blue went out through the cat flap, said Mum. Take the torch and check outside, but put on your coats first. It's really cold out there. Joe found the torch and opened the back door. Outside, the winter wind was wild. It whistled in the treetops. Clouds scudded across the moon. Here we go, said Joe, and the beam from her torch cut through the darkness. The children hurried across the cobblestone yard. It's freezing cold, Joe said. I hope Blue has shelter somewhere. A shadow crept along the wall of an old stone barn. What was that? Whispered Josh. It could have been a fox, said Joe, or a badger. Josh shivered and shivered. Let's check in the barn, said Joe. The beam from the torch flashed around the old barn. The children saw bales of hay, a broken ladder, piles of plastic sacks, and farm tools. Blue, called Joe. Blue, where are you? But Blue didn't appear. Blue wasn't in the barn. Chapter 5. That evening the children got ready for bed. There was still no sign of Blue. Your first night in the old farmhouse, said Mum. Isn't it exciting? No, said Joe, there's no Blue. Josh felt sad and cold. He pulled the duvet right up under his chin. It's not like home, Mum, he said. It will be, said Mum. It will be. It always feels strange in a new place. Tomorrow will be better, said Dad. Just you wait and see. And he winked at Josh. Good night, said Mum. Sleep tight. And she switched off the light. All night an icy wind whistled across the moors. Tree branches tapped and scratched at the windows. In the morning, Joe woke up and saw a strange glow on the bedroom ceiling. She jumped out of bed and ran to the window. Josh! She shouted. Look! What is it? Mumbled Josh. Just waking up. It's snow! Snow! It's a white world! Joe and Josh gazed from the bedroom window. The icy wind had died away and deep snow lay across the moors. Everything was silent and still. A pale sun shone faintly in the ice-blue sky. Snow, said Joe excitedly. Snow, whispered Josh. Chapter 6. Joe! Josh! Called Mum from downstairs. Come and see what's here. The children clattered down the bare stairs and ran along the hall. In the kitchen it felt warm. Dad was feeding coal into the old boiler. It popped and pinged and sizzled with heat. Surprise, said Mum with a great smile. What is it? Asked Joe. Look, there, she said, pointing. Lying in a box on a pile of Dad's old jumpers was a kitten, a tiny kitten with its eyes closed. It's, I know, said Mum, and gave Josh a hug. Then who came pushing her way through the cat flap? Blue, and in her mouth was a second kitten. Joe, Josh, Mum and Dad watched as Blue lay down beside her two kittens and licked them again and again. Did she purr? She certainly did. She purred and purred and purred. She was so happy. Blue, cried Joe, kneeling beside the cat. Blue, you've come back, said Josh, kneeling beside his sister. What a wonderful housewarming present, said Mum. 2 new kittens. And here's the family in their lovely warm kitchen, and Blue with her new family. See, said Dad, I told you tomorrow would be better, and it is. It wasn't long before the radiators in the old farmhouse were ticking as heat spread to every room. Outside there was cold snow, but inside it was warm. And there were 2 new kittens. Well, Joe, said Mum, what do you think of the old farmhouse now? It's great, said Joe. It's just great. And what about you, Josh? asked Mum. What do you think? Josh thought for a moment. Then he said, it feels just like home, Mum. And best of all, Blue's come back. And that's the end. Thank you very much for listening.